KOIN 6 News, your local election headquarters. Results from tonight's primary election continue to come in. More expected any moment. And we're here with the latest at 10 o'clock. I'm Jeff Gianola.
I'm Elizabeth Din. Thanks for joining us. Voters are picking their candidate for president, but there are also some major races being decided. Our team is following big races across the Portland Metro tonight. Lisa Balick and Brandon Thompson will bring us both sides of the Multnomah County District Attorney's race in a moment. Elise Haas following the race for the 5th District in Clackamas County. But let's start with the race for Multnomah County District Attorney.
KOIN 6 Political Director Ken Boddy joins us with the first look at those results tonight. Ken, what are they showing?
Well, this is the race for Multnomah County District Attorney, where Nathan Vasquez is looking to unseat his boss, DA Mike Schmidt, and it looks like that could very well happen based upon the numbers that we have so far. Right now, Nathan Vasquez has 58% of the early vote, and Mike Schmidt is at 41%. So Nathan Vasquez with a 17-point lead at this point, and we are being told that this will likely hold. It may get closer before the final votes are tallied, but right now it looks like senior prosecutor for Multnomah County, Nathan Vasquez, will unseat his boss, incumbent Mike Schmidt. Back to you, and we'll continue to follow this closely throughout the night.
All right, Ken, thank you so much.
Well, Brandon Thompson at the election party for DA challenger Nathan Vasquez. What's the feeling there tonight? I know nothing's final, but he has that early lead, Brandon.
That's right. That is a feeling of energy and excitement here today. When the first results were announced around 8 p.m., there were lots of cheers from the crowd here, but we just spoke to District Attorney candidate Nathan Vasquez just a few minutes ago, maybe 15 minutes ago, not declaring victory just yet, but feeling confident with this lead so far. He's wanting to watch the next round of results come through, as that is expected in a number of minutes. But when we spoke to Vasquez about what if these results hold, this 17-point lead, the 13,000 votes that he has right now, he says that he wants to prioritize what he promised during the campaign to end open-air drug use and prioritize prosecution and public safety. That was the campaign that he ran on today, and he wants to meet people where they're at. We asked him about the Measure 110 reform that will require district attorney offices to create a diversion and deflection program for people who are caught using or possessing drugs in the state of Oregon. He says that he will work to make that system that meets people where they are at in their addiction. Now, part of that requirement means that people need to meet with either treatment or detox or some sort of counselors to start their path to addiction. I asked him what happens when there's not enough space, because Oregon has a capacity issue right now. He says he will advocate to the state legislature and county commissioners about the resources they need. He says when we spoke to him that he wants to prioritize prosecution, but with compassion.
Yeah. By no means is tonight, or if I'm successful in this election, no means are we abandoning that. It's actually going to be carried forward in a much more professional, thoughtful manner in which we serve the entire community and we're able to deliver public safety across the board and still carry forward those messages.
That's Vasquez speaking to equity in the criminal justice system if he is indeed elected to the district attorney's office in this election. Now, just an idea of the people that are here, lot of public safety background right now. The head of the Portland Police Union, the head of the Portland Fire Union, as well as Jordan Schnitzer, the billionaire developer in Portland, was here tonight as well. Renee Gonzalez, the Portland City Commissioner, Sharon Myron, the County Commissioner for Multnomah County, even Clackamas County Commissioner Ben West was here. Just an idea of who is backing Vasquez in his campaign tonight. Back to you guys.
All right, Brandon, thank you for that. We do have some new numbers coming in.
Yeah, let's take a look at those right now. These are new numbers in the DA's race coming up, and Nathan Vasquez continues with that lead over incumbent Mike Schmidt right now. So the new numbers of 56% to 44%. Nathan Vasquez continues with that lead, and it's expected it stays at about 14,000, leading by about 14,000 votes.
All right, now let's check in with our Lisa Balick. Now, she is at the campaign of Mike Schmidt, of course, Vasquez's boss. Lisa, what is the mood there right now?
They're still fairly upbeat, although he has not conceded. He did talk to the folks here and tell them, hey, it's been a good fight. We'll see what happens as the numbers still to come in. Now, keep in mind, he also says that he will still be working very hard for the next 7 months, depending on what happens. He says if he gets another term or not, but he still has 7 months in his campaign still to be working hard and getting things done. Now, Schmidt took a lot of heat for being reluctant to prosecute many of the protesters arrested during the racial protests shortly after he took office in 2020. He tells me voters do place blame on the DA for a lot of frustrations they're feeling right now, things he says that are not really even under his control, like slow 911 response times, homelessness, but he says he has fought to make the city better.
I've heard from the people of Multnomah County they want a DA who will fight for gun violence prevention. Because we all deserve to live in communities where we can live free from fear. They want a DA who will fight to address the racial inequalities in our criminal justice system and to prioritize rehabilitation over mass incarceration.
Now, Schmidt says he will continue to fight for criminal justice reform, whether it's as DA or in another position. Now, keep in mind, once again, he has not conceded. He has spoken to the crowd here, which is starting to thin out, and we'll see what happens in the coming hours, because as we saw today, there were a lot of people that were dropping off ballots at ballot boxes. Also, a tremendous number of people who put their ballots in the mail. As long as that was done before midnight, those ballots will count. So still a lot of ballots to come in, and they're hoping the tide does turn for them. Live in downtown Portland, Lisa Balick, KOIN 6 News.
Okay, Lisa, with the latest from the Mike Schmidt campaign.